Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Wednesday, February 5th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown, so if you're someone that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used as a tool to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. First off, a couple of quick clarifications. Number one, the candlestick that you see right there will be moving around and changing. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. Second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame, meaning each one of these candlesticks here represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one, ticker symbol CAPT. Absolute monster move on this one today. A lot of people talking about it. So let's get some key levels here mapped out from the technical point of view. So first key level that you got to think a lot of people are watching is that trend line right there or something very similar. Now let me be very clear. I'm not trying to impress you. I'm not trying to imply that that was a great discovery or a special talent. The exact opposite. I think a lot of people drew that trend line. And I say all that because when a lot of people are watching the same levels and wondering the same thing, call it a self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It can produce some very dynamic movements. And no guarantees, but is it valid? Is it plausible to think that the price were to come up here and break up through there, that break in and of itself could create additional buying pressure? That is certainly a reasonable outcome. In terms of areas of support, interesting trend line right there. So let me get that put into play as green. And then just to make this all easier to see from a pattern standpoint, we have our area of resistance. We have our support. We have the big move up right there. For you golfers, try to make it a little bit more visual, put the golf hole down here. This would be a bull pennant pattern. So if you like this price range, you like bull pennant patterns, certainly keep an eye on it. Next one, PLTR, had earnings, absolutely monster move. And I mean, yeah, moved today, but after such a big gap up, limited movement is not, for sure going to happen, but I don't think, it makes it bad or anything like that, just because, I mean, the chart had to digest this movement anyways. But nonetheless, definitely have some interesting dynamics here from the chart perspective. So there's our area of resistance. Here is the area of support, so green for support. And maybe you already see where I'm headed with all this, but we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. So we have our area of resistance, support, big move up right there, golf hole down here. So a bull pennant, I'd say probably the biggest difference is just a little bit more pricier, a different price range. But, and I should note that just because there's a bullish pattern does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to go upwards. But again, is it reasonable? Is it plausible to think that if it comes up here and breaks up through there, that break could generate additional buying pressure? Absolutely, especially on a very well-known stock such as PLTR. So again, no guarantees, but all that is more than reasonable. So if you like kind of more of the well-known stocks, you like this price range, maybe you like to trade options, you like bull pennants, keep an eye on it. Next one, AZTR, and this one has been an absolute train wreck. Very ugly looking chart, but for you longer time viewers, you know what I'm going to say next. There can be opportunity in the ugly. But yeah, I mean, I think at one point the price was up here and then dropped, acted like maybe this was some sort of bottom, and then late afternoon dropped again. But what I find interesting is look at where the price is now starting to go sideways, right at that pink line and purple line. The pink line on my chart represents the 200 period moving average. Purple line represents the 50 period moving average. Both a couple of very well-known levels within the world of charts. So going back to the theme, no guarantees, but is it plausible? Is it reasonable to think that the price, and so far, I mean, like I said, it's been going sideways already, but to think that could there be some sort of bounce off that level? Absolutely. Now, to be fair, this thing could continue to bleed, so that's why risk management matters. But for those of you disciplined traders, you could structure yourself a very interesting risk-reward scenario, because it's not like there's got to be a massive bounce in order for you to make money. But relative to what was being risked, even if you get a modest move, like I said, you could be looking at a very nice RVR situation. So if you like penny stocks, you're a disciplined trader, and you like these sorts of kind of ugly or opportunity in the ugly circumstances, here you go. Next one, RGTI, and this one overall is doing fantastic, but there's a little hesitation because this is where things get tricky from where I sit presentation-wise, because it's about perspective. If you're a day trader, flipper, scalper, whatever you want to call yourself, and you went and you were buying, couldn't find my cursor on my screen, but anyways, you were buying right there and your plan was to buy and sell within 13 minutes. Well then yes, from that standpoint, things are not looking good for you at all because very clearly there was a big pullback in the downward direction. Now if you care about things from the big picture point of view, even with the pullback And if you look right here at these lows, and then you start to correspond that with that low, and then if you were to go back even further, you'd see lows even lower. Well, then overall, you're still seeing progress. If you envision each of these lows as stair steps, the stair steps are still very clearly being constructed in the upwards direction, and assuming you care about the overall standpoint, that's the name of the game. As nice as it would be for a price to just go straight up, that's not how the markets work. There needs to be consolidations, there needs to be pullbacks, but as long as each pullback is occurring at higher levels, that is the name of the game. Again, I'm well aware that if you're a scalper and you bought right there, you really don't care about any of these stair steps. So that's why I'm trying to differentiate between more of a day trader versus somebody that cares about the bigger picture point of view. In terms of key battlegrounds, well, this level here at 1450 remains a key level. Yes, I would agree it's been weakened up today given the price has been above it, but now it's kind of been become one of those tricky areas where sure you can get breaks above it, but back down it went. Here's a big break above it, back down it went. There's another little break above it, back down it went. So that's not to say that the price can never ever break up through 1450. I'm just saying I'd be a little skeptical on any break because as history has shown us, it does like to, kind of create those fake breakouts. But all things considered, the price continues to build higher lows, and that's what matters most. Next one here, NVDA, and all things considered, today did just fine. I'm going to go ahead and get rid of that level as we now, I think, have a little bit more kind of clean-cut level of resistance, and that is right up here at that purple line there, which you now know is the 50 period moving average. In fact, earlier today, price got slightly up above it, but that didn't last very long, and back down it went. And then the remainder of the day, the price just hung out kind of right below that level. So if there is any more attempted movements back in the upwards direction, keep an eye on that purple line there. 50 period moving average will be the main dynamic for more so the overarching standpoint, and kind of just to give an idea of this sideways channel that had been forming. The definitely key level from the bigger picture right up there around the 129.15 mark, but also one hurdle at a time. I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves because as already discussed, prices first got to get above that purple line. But if there is, it is NVIDIA, so big moves can happen. So if there is some sort of break of that purple line there, then I'm not saying the price goes straight up to that level, but there is quite a bit of wiggle room where the price could find itself some upside momentum. In terms of areas of support, right there at 115.30 is an important area as discussed in yesterday's video. So good to see that level didn't even really come close to getting tested today, but that remains nonetheless the key area of support moving forward. Real quick, want to take a break and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online webinar that I'm offering here in a couple of days. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it can and should be used to build consistency and manage risk, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box you can use, or if you're watching right at my website, there's an area on the webpage that you can use to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been enjoying, then definitely get signed up for the free live class. Next one here, LTRY, and I like this just because it's got a nice little consolidation pattern. So just to kind of set up a little bit of context here, huge move up, and then it started to come down here. And when it gets to this area of the chart, it becomes a very valid question to say, is this a pump and up? Is this some sort of just movement where it's acting like it wants to be strong and then it's going to give everything up? And that'll mean a little bit more of those of you that have a trading experience. I'm sure you've seen situations like that. But we seemingly have our answer because, things were looking bad, and then all of a sudden spent the rest of the day kind of chopping around and creating this little wedge, which still doesn't guarantee that the pullback is over, but it goes back to that talking point of, is it at least plausible? Does it at least make sense to throw out that as a suggestion? And in my opinion, absolutely. So this wedge here that I'm referring to, we have the top part of the wedge right there. We have the bottom part of it right there. And there we go. We have the support portion and the resistance portion. So moving forward, this is going to run out of room. Just the nature of the pattern is going to run out of room. So the question just becomes, who's ultimately going to win? Do the bears win with a push to the downside? Do the bulls win with a push to the upside? Grab your popcorn and we'll see what happens. Next one here, TNXP, still a relatively popular penny stock, and it's got a nice pattern here on it, one of my favorites. So let's just get this pattern drawn into play. So down here we have the support part of the pattern. Right here we have the resistance, and this would be a falling wedge pattern, which you would think is a bearish pattern, actually a bullish pattern, whereas the rising wedge is the bearish pattern. Now, as I mentioned already, just because something's bullish does not mean for sure guaranteed the price is going to go upwards, but this is a falling wedge, like I said, one of my favorites. So if you yourself like the falling wedge and you like to trade down in the world of penny stocks, then certainly keep an eye on it. Next one here, QNTM, and very, very impressive afternoon here. Don't get me wrong, it was already a nice day, had the big gap up, pulled back here, consolidated. And this is what I was referring to earlier. kind of a little bit of a wedge here and then got the break to the upside. I'm not saying that's going to occur on the other one, but that's the general idea that I was trying to get at there. And now we have this breakout movement here, so it'll be interesting to see how this one continues to play out. Also got a pretty interesting trend line here. I mean, it's not perfect, but I mean, you can see here, this is just gauging that overall the price continue to build those higher bases. So moving forward, as long as the price stays above that support trend line, then by definition, the price is building higher lows, and higher lows is the name of the game, assuming you're bullish from an overarching standpoint. So keep an eye on that. And then in terms of areas of resistance, really nothing, no need to overcomplicate this, just asking the question, where did the party finally stop? And that was right up here at $7.30. So no need to overcomplicate it. The party finally stopped at that level. So moving forward, if the party is going to continue on, well, then $7.30 is going to be that level that needs to be broken down. But all things considered, great movement today, great afternoon. So we'll see if the momentum carries into Wednesday. Next one, BBAI, and have ourselves another nice bull pennant pattern here. So I'm going to go through a little quicker. I want to respect your time. You've already heard me talk about this pattern before. So there is our resistance. And as always, just because I want to make sure that people are not misinformed, just because it's a bullish pattern doesn't mean that I'm sitting here saying, therefore, this thing is for sure going to go up. But it is a nice pattern here. So just to make sure we can all see it, resistance, support, nice move up. Golf hole down here. So once again, a bull pennant pattern, and you got to like how the price as of right now is just cruising right below the lower part of it. So do we get some sort of movement like that headed into Wednesday? It seems plausible. It seems like a more than reasonable outcome. But as always, that's why risk management matters. But if you like this price range, you like bull pennants, here you go. Next one here, TSLA Tesla, and this is exactly why I like to do these when the market's still open. But check it out. We officially have a breakout of this trend line here. And now we get to ask ourselves a very, very exciting question. Is this the start of something even bigger? Now think about that question. It makes zero sense to ask that question if nothing worthwhile is even happening. So the mere fact that we're getting to ask that is a good thing because it means something has at least happened. Now, to be fair, maybe it's not. Maybe this is a fake breakout. Maybe this thing just rolls right back over. That is possible. But again, to be fair, well, I mean, maybe this is the start of something bigger, and this thing's getting ready to rock and roll back to the upside. So trend line, and let me just get rid of that level. So that one was broken today too nicely, but point here is trend line has been broken. It's getting warmed up. Keep an eye on that purple line there. It's probably going to, that might be a problem point. But if the price can also get up through that purple line there, then yeah, I would think that that is indeed another indicator that this is the start of something bigger. But anyway, look at it. Very well-known stocks such as Tesla, getting key breakouts. Always exciting, always worthwhile to ask, all right, it's started, but is it the start of something even bigger? Grab your popcorn for Wednesday. So that wraps up the top 10 list. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more, then definitely go get signed up for the free live class. It'll be Thursday, February 6th at 8 p.m. Eastern time, so I hope to see you there. As far as the top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy these, then please help me out in a very easy way to support the channel in an easy and free way. Hit the subscribe button. It's amazing how much that actually helps from the YouTube standpoint. So if you enjoy, please consider doing that. And also maybe throwing a like would help out a whole lot too. But again, thanks for watching. Make sure you get signed up for the free class, and I'll see you back for the next video tomorrow.